What is the Baha'i faith?
The Baha'i faith is a world religion whose purpose is to unite all the races and peoples in one universal cause and one common faith. Baha'is are followers of Baha'u'lláh, who they believe is the promised one of all ages, that which the Lord hath ordained as the sovereign remedy and mightiest instrument for the healing of all the world, is the union of all its people in one universal cause, one common faith. Who is God? God is the unknowable creator. Baha'u'lláh teaches us that God is not knowable in his essence. This means that we should not make images of God in our mind, thinking of him, for example, as a man. In general, that which has been created cannot understand its creator. God is the creator of all things, and the reason behind our creation is love. Baha'u'lláh teaches us that God loved us, and we were created from this love. Baha'u'lláh says, O son of man, I love thy creation, hence I created thee. Wherefore do thou love me, that I may name thy name, and fill thy soul with the spirit of life. The eternal covenant. The way this love flows to us is through his eternal covenant. God never leaves us alone and without guidance. When humanity moves away from God and forgets his teachings, a manifestation of God appears and makes God's will and purpose known to us. Prophets, that we call manifestation of God. The manifestations of God reveal the word and will of God, and to listen to them is to respond to the call of God. The manifestations of God are like perfect mirrors that reflect the light of God in all its splendor, and all these mirrors reflect the same light. While God is beyond our reach, these perfect beings come to us from time to time, live among us, give us guidance, and fill us with the energy we need to progress materially and spiritually. The plight of humanity, the promise of this day. Baha'u'lláh says, this is the day in which God's most excellent favors have been poured out upon men, the day in which his most mighty grace hath been infused into all created things. It is incumbent upon all the peoples of the world to reconcile the differences and perfect unity and peace, abide beneath the shadow of the tree of his care and loving kindness. The aim of the Baha'i faith is to unify humanity. Although we differ from one another physically and emotionally and have different talents and capacities, we all spring from the same root. We all belong to the same human family. When a feeling of hatred begins to take shape in our hearts, we should immediately replace it with a feeling of love. The oneness of humanity. Although the oneness of humanity is an undeniable truth, the peoples of the world are so far from it that unifying them is no easy task. When someone joins the Baha'i community, they participate with the rest of us in our efforts to build and maintain unity. So many passages in the Baha'i writing teach us how to walk in the ways of unity and how to help others take the same path. The divine design for unity. Baha'u'lláh has drawn the circle of unity. He has made a design for the uniting of all the peoples and for the gathering of them all under the shelter of the tent of universal unity. This is the work of the divine bounty, and we must all strive with heart and soul until we have the reality of unity in our midst, and as we work, so will his strength be given unto us. Baha'u'lláh is the manifestation of God for this age. Baha'u'lláh was born in 1817 in Tehran, the capital of Iran. From his early childhood, he showed signs of greatness. He received some instruction at home, but he did not attend school, for he was endowed with innate knowledge from God. The life of Baha'u'lláh. Baha'u'lláh came from a noble family. When he was a young man, he was offered a high position in the court of the king, but refused it, dedicating his time instead to helping the oppressed, the sick, and the poor, and to championing the cause of justice. Baha'u'lláh, his suffering and influence. Baha'u'llah's suffering began the moment he arose to proclaim the cause of God. He lived the life of exile, imprisonment, and persecution. He was put in chains in a dark and dismal dungeon in Tehran. This is the scene from that dungeon. His exile and imprisonment. Baha'u'lláh was exiled 4 times from land to land until finally being sent to the prison city of Akka in the Ottoman Empire. Nothing should be done to stop the Baha'u'llah's growing influence. The most great prison. This was in Akka, Israel, when Baha'u'lláh was put in this awful prison for 2 years with his family, beginning with the hot summer months on August 31st, 1868, when he arrived in Akka. Remember my days during thy days, and my distress and banishment in this remote prison. And be thou so steadfast in my love, that thy heart shall not waver, even if the swords of the enemies rain blows upon thee, and all the heavens and the earth arise against thee. The ancient beauty hath consented to be bound with chains, that mankind may be released from its bondage, and hath accepted to be made a prisoner within this most mighty stronghold, that the whole world may attain unto true liberty. He hath drained to his dregs the cup of sorrow, that all the peoples of the earth may attain unto abiding joy, and be filled with gladness. This is the mercy of your Lord, the compassionate, the most merciful. We have accepted to be based, O believers, in the unity of God, that ye may be exalted, and have suffered manifold afflictions, that ye might prosper and flourish. He who hath come to build anew the whole world, behold, how they that have joined partners with God have forced him to dwell within the most desolate of cities. The light of truth. Every effort was made by 2 powerful courts, those of the King of Iran and the Ottoman Emperor, to oppose Baha'u'lláh and his teachings, but the light of truth is not easily extinguished. In spite of constant persecution, Baha'u'lláh continued to reveal the Word of God for more than 40 years, from 1852 until 1892, when he passed away in Akka, Palestine. The shrine of Baha'u'lláh. Baha'u'lláh passed away in 1892. His shrine is located in the Holy Land, near the city of Akka in Israel. The Bab was the herald of the Baha'i faith. All of the manifestations of God have given their lives for the salvation of humanity. The Bab literally means the gate. Several years before Baha'u'lláh proclaimed his mission, God sent a special messenger to announce his coming. For 6 years he taught ceaselessly that the appearance of the new manifestation of God was near, and prepared the way for his coming. He told the people that they were witnessing the dawn of the new age, the dawn of the promised day of God. His suffering and influence of the Bab. Thousands upon thousands of people accepted the message of the Bab and began to follow his teachings. But the government of Iran and the powerful clergy who ruled over the masses rose against him. Martyrdom of the Bab. His followers were persecuted and large numbers were put to death. The Bab himself, at the age of 31, was martyred by a regiment of soldiers who, at the orders of the government, suspended him in a public square and opened fire on him. These are 2 prayers of the Bab. Is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praise be God. He is God. All are his servants, and all abide by his bidding. Say, God suffices all things above all things, and nothing in the heavens or in the earth, but God sufficeth. Verily he is in himself the knower, the sustainer, the omnipotent. Now a little about the administrative orders of the Baha'i faith. Spiritual and administrative world order. This is the shrine of the Bab in the heart of Mount Carmel, with 19 terraces above and below the shrine. This is the seat of the Universal Justice on Mount Carmel, close to the shrine of the Baha. And this is the shrine of Baha'u'lláh near Akka. Abdu'l-Bahá was the center of the covenant. This means he was the authorized interpreter of the Baha'i writings after Baha'u'lláh passed away. The idea most central to our lives as Baha'is is that we have entered into a covenant with Baha'u'lláh. In all other religions, after the passing of the manifestation, his followers had thousands of disputes among themselves and as a result split the religion into many sects. Baha'u'lláh has protected his faith against such division by endowing it with a unique power, the power of the covenant. So Abdu'l-Bahá was the sole interpreter and perfect exemplar of the Baha'i faith. Before his passing, he stated in the clearest terms in his written will that after him all Baha'is should turn to Abdu'l-Bahá. He had been raised by Baha'u'lláh himself, had recognized his station even as a child, and had shared the sufferings of his father. Abdu'l-Bahá lived on this earth for 77 years. He was born on the same night the Bab declared his mission in 1844 and passed away in November 1921. A unified world community. After the passing of his father, the responsibility for the Baha'i community fell on the shoulders, and he labored day and night to spread the faith throughout the East and the West. Abdu'l-Bahá reminds us of our covenant with Baha'u'lláh, and we will not allow the unity of his followers to be broken. United as a worldwide community, we will labor until the oneness of mankind has been firmly established. These are just some scenes of Baha'u'lláh when he was in Paris and when he came to the United States in 1912. Shoghi Effendi is the guardian of the faith. Here is when he was a young lad with Abdu'l-Bahá. In his will and testament, Abdu'l-Bahá named his grandson the guardian of the faith, and after his passing, Shoghi Effendi became the authorized interpreter of his teaching. For 36 years, he continued the work of his grandfather, clarifying the words of the manifestation and firmly establishing the faith. Now, after Shoghi Effendi, we have the Universal House of Justice. The Baha'is of the world elected the Universal House of Justice as the envisioned by Baha'u'lláh and clearly described by Abdu'l-Bahá and the guardian. The Universal House of Justice is the supreme institution of the faith to which all the Baha'is of the world now turn. This is the seat of the Universal House of Justice in Haifa, Israel, next to the shrine of the Bab. The manifestation of God brings laws to humanity. The lamps of my loving providence among my servants and the keys of my mercy for my creatures. Observe my commandments for the love of my beauty. So if we accept Baha'u'lláh as the manifestation of God, this is where we should obey his laws for this age. Prayer is the spiritual food, the spiritual sustenance. This is the short obligatory prayer. I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy wealth. There is none other God but thee, the helping peril, the self-subsisting. Some of the moral laws of the faith, many of them similar to other religions, perhaps with more emphasis. Backbiting is forbidden. O companion of my throne, hear no evil and see no evil. Abase not thyself, neither sigh and weep. Speak no evil, that thou mayest not hear it spoken unto thee, and magnify not the faults of others, that thy own faults may not appear great. And wish not the abasement of anyone, that thy own abasement be not exposed. Live then the days of thy life, that are less than a fleeting moment, with thy mind stainless, thy heart unsullied, thy thoughts pure, and thy nature sanctified, so that free and content thou mayest put away this mortal frame, and repair unto the mystic paradise, and abide in the eternal kingdom for evermore. Some of these laws from the Most Holy Book, Prohibition of alcohol and drugs, and a passage from the Hidden Words. O Son of Spirit, I created thee rich. Why dost thou bring thyself down to poverty? Noble I made thee, wherefore dost thou abase thyself? Out of the essence of knowledge I gave thee being. Why seekest thou enlightenment from anyone beside me? Out of the clay of love I molded thee. How dost thou busy thyself with another? Turn thy sight unto thyself, that thou mayest find me standing within thee, mighty, powerful, and self-subsisting. Some of the social teachings of the faith, including education for all children. The first duty of the beloved of God and the maidservants of the merciful is this: they must strive by all possible means to educate both sexes, male and female, girls like boys. There is no difference whatsoever between them. The ignorance of both is blameworthy, and negligence in both cases is reprovable. Are they who know and they who do not know equal? So the Baha'is are attempting to build a new civilization. The first participant in this puzzle is individual. So it's an individual, community, and the institution. It is the day of an individual Baha'i. It is the duty of an individual Baha'i to remain firm in the covenant, to strive daily to bring his or her life in line with Baha'u'llah's teachings, and to serve humanity always conscious of the fact that life does not end with death and that one's salvation with God is eternal. After death, our souls become free and continue to progress toward God for all eternity. The second participant is community. Human beings were not created to exist alone. We live in communities and must work together to build the new civilization. The community closest to us is the local one, which consists of the Baha'is of our village or town. It is the local community where we learn to cooperate with one another, to grow together and become united. The third participant are the institutions of the faith. Baha'u'llah has brought his own administrative order, which means that he has told us what institutions we must create, how they should function, and how humanity should be governed. There are no priests or clergy in the Baha'i faith, and it is the local spiritual assembly that guides the affairs of the local community. A local spiritual assembly consists of 9 members, elected in a prayerful atmosphere by secret ballot by all the adult believers in the community. Some passages from Baha'u'llah's hidden words: O God, refresh and gladden my spirit, purify my heart, illumine my powers. I lay all my affairs in thy hand. Thou art my guide and my refuge. I will no longer be sorrowful and grieved. I'll be a happy and joyful being. O God, I will no longer be full of anxiety, nor will I let trouble harass me. I will not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. O God, thou art more friend to me than I am to myself. I dedicate myself to thee, O Lord. So this was a short synopsis of the moral teaching, social teaching, and administrative order and history of the Baha'i faith. Thank you for your attention.